Hello, Puglets, Pugnation here with another tutorial for all of you. I call this gadget the Taxman. Now, watch. When I put any item into this chest, it'll be emptied, but you'll notice that nothing's happening. I put in a slab, nothing happens. Nothing happens. Redstone, nothing happens. Stone stairs, nothing happens. Stone bricks, nothing happens. But when I put in an emerald... Oh, we get an output. Woo! Woo! Fireworks! Yeah! So how did I do that? Alright, Puglets, so as you just saw, this is a device that accepts only a certain kind of item and emits an output only upon receiving that one kind of item. Looks complicated, looks scary, especially if you're new to redstone, but I promise you this is actually made up of relatively simple components. You have an item sorter here, which is very, very compact, only one space wide and completely tileable. A toggleable redstone clock, again, only one tile wide. And an inventory detector. That's it, that's the whole thing. Put those three components together and you actually have this, the Taxman. So I'm gonna go ahead and build it for you. Alright, building this thing. First things first, decide where you want your chest to be. I want my chest to be right here. So I put a staircase like that just to hide the hopper that's going to be here. I'm going to have a dropper diagonally away from this chest. I'm going to try something a little different from my original design and put a dropper facing down like that. And then I'm going to put a hopper feeding from this chest into this dropper block. Alright, and now any item that is placed in this chest will be automatically funneled into this dropper. So what we need to do now is have a way to have this dropper fire repeatedly when there's an inventory in it, and only when there's an inventory in it. So we do that by using a toggleable clock. Very simple design, looks complicated, I promise you it's not. Have a comparator leading out of this dropper into a block with a torch on top of it. On top of that torch, put a block with, well, actually two blocks like that. Next to the torch, you're going to have two blocks out like that. And just make this pattern kind of a random looking pattern. But redstone dust there with a repeater with a delay of 2 facing into the block that is above that redstone torch. Redstone dust there, and when I put this torch here, you'll see that the clock will start happening. This is just a repeating redstone pulse. And to get it to power this dropper, just put a torch right there, and now you'll see that the redstone dust that I put in there is just being spit out. Alright, so now we need to put in a sorting unit and a mechanism to get the items that are dropped out of this dropper to the sorting unit. Now over here I used a water channel design. Here I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to try a hopper minecart design. So I'm going to have all of these be powered rails. I'm going to power it by putting a torch there, which powers this block, powering all of those rails. And when you put a hopper minecart on there, it'll just bounce back and forth, back and forth, back and forth like that. Get rid of that for now because this needs to be a hopper. This is where our sorting unit is going to be. If I could actually just get the hopper out. Hopper there. And we're going to have these feeding into a hopper. This could be a chest as well. I'm using a hopper. I will tell you why when we get there. But so now items will be taken out of this, fed into this hopper, and eventually fed into that hopper there. So put a rail back on top of that, and now the actual sorting unit is actually pretty simple. It's 2 blocks behind the top hopper like so, a block here, and then 3 blocks like that. So you got this kind of backward C shape here with a block that right there. So it's like the C is trying to eat that block. Nom, 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 nom. So a comparator coming out of the top hopper like that, 2 redstone dust like so. Whoops, repeater feeding out of this block into that block with a redstone torch on the side like that. I'll let you guys get a good look at that. While this is powered, it'll stop this hopper from feeding items into this hopper. So now we need to actually make it sort units. Let's say I wanted to sort redstone dust. So first things first, I'm going to put 64 dust in the left-hand slot of this item hopper. And then I'm going to put 4 sticks in like that. And now on the top hopper, I'm going to put in 64 redstone dust, and then just put 1 into each of these slots. This will stop clicking down once it gets to 18. So once that reaches 18, it will stop. So again, that's 64 redstone in here. 1, 2, 3, 4 sticks in the bottom hopper. And there you can see it's stopping 18, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. This is now a redstone sorter. This will only take redstone dust. And for the water channel variation of that, guys, it's very simple. I have this dropper facing straight out. This will repeatedly fire drops. I have a water channel going 1, 2 blocks here. There's my hopper right there. I put a sign here to stop the water from turning this lava into cobblestone and pouring everywhere. So if you put if you put a sign there, it will stop the water. And so now items that aren't, in this case, emeralds, will be destroyed. And you need to carefully control what is spit out of this dropper, or excuse me, how it's spit out of the dropper. So you put, the way I do it is I put a half slab over it like that, and then I just cover this up. And then if you put a block right there, now items that are shot out of this dropper will hit this block and drop neatly down on the ground. The other thing you could do is just take this dropper and have it shooting straight down. Sometimes that is also a little bit buggy, but it does work. So there are 2 ways to get items from the dropper into the item sorter. This can be a little bit buggy. This can be a little bit loud because that minecart makes a noise when it goes back and forth like that. So tiny bit buggy. Sometimes items will be destroyed. Tiny bit loud. But there you go. Make your choice. You're the artist. All right. Last part, and probably the simplest part of the Taxman, is having your inventory detector. So all of your items, your sorted items, end up in this hopper. Now, you just simply place a comparator coming out of that hopper and into a block with a torch on it. And I'm going to go ahead and invert this so we get the input on that I want. Now, as you will see, when there is an item in here, in this case redstone dust, you will get your input on. And that's only with 1 redstone dust in there. Now, you can regulate your tax rate, so to speak, by making this longer. Like so. And now, as you will see, it takes... I could get this right. There we go. Here's your output. And now, as you will see, it takes more than 1 item to get your desired output. So now you need to throw in, I believe it's 23 items into a hopper. Yep, 23 items. Now, this Taxman requires 23 redstone dust before you will get your output. So as you can see, you can really play around with this. I can make this wire even longer, so you'd require more items to get your output. If I put a chest in here, it requires even more items because a chest, or rather because comparators provide an output proportional to how full the container is. So a chest has 27 slots total. So it's going to take more items to give you that redstone output. Whereas if I used a hopper, which I'll do here, a hopper only has 5 slots. So you get way more output for fewer items. So you could toy around with this and set your tax rate, so to speak, how many items you need to put into this thing before you will get your output. Alright guys, so there you have it. 2 slightly different variations of what I like to call the Taxman. One using a water channel and one using a hopper minecart. As you can see, this is very easily hidden behind a wall, although that is a hideous wall. You could do better. You're the artist. Yeah, lots of applications of this in, let's say, adventure maps. I'm looking at you, adventure map makers. You can have this hooked up to, say, a door where you can't progress to the next area until you've paid the Taxman, until you found a certain item hidden in your adventure map, place it into this chest. Only then can you proceed to the next room. That's a cool use for this. Another idea a guy on my server actually had was to have this for a kind of capture the flag PvP style map. So let's say you can't get into a room with an objective in your arena until you found a certain item hidden around the map, and only once it's placed into this chest will the door open and you can go in to your objective. I think that's awesome. Another idea I had for the server was to make a tax on using a rail system. So people can't use my rail system until they've paid the Taxman. Only once they've put the item that I've selected for in here will they be able to get a cart and boost it on their way. So that's another use for it. Also, more notes on customizability. You can have it so it selects multiple items if you want. You don't just need to have one item sorter in here. You can build as many of these next to each other as you want. These are actually one tile wide, tileable sorter design here. That's what this is. So you can have as many as you want next to each other and have each of them provide their own output. You can even have each of them provide a unique output. So you can have one Taxman excuse me, you can have one Taxman take several different kinds of items and provide a different output depending on the item you put in. Now, some really cool applications for that if you think about it, and I will let you go with just this last thing. Fireworks! Woo! Yeah! Or you could just hook it up to a fireworks display like I did here. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching the Taxman. I think I can't wait to see what people do with this. If you make adventure maps, please build this and show me what you hook this output up to. I mean, you can do whatever you want with this. I think it's going to be fantastic. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Like, comment, and subscribe to join the Puglets today. And I will see you all very soon.